George Crossman. We will probably never know the true extent of this extravagant yet heartless fellow, for he took his own life before he could be apprehended. And yet the true motivations of George Albert Crossman's were not really crimes of passion in the true sense. Yet the murders he committed are worth mentioning because they were all in the name of love. A serial womanizer and bigamist, he married 8 women that we know of, and one by one he either betrayed or killed them. Either this cunning and deceiving Bluebeard was obsessed with the love of women, or their money. Well then, who can say? By the time he was 32, he had married 3 times. His first was Annie Smith, who later died. The cause remains obscured. His second was Annie Farley, who later divorced him for bigamy, no doubt because of his third marriage to Polly Osborne, who was now living elsewhere. All 3 marriages had been legitimate. However, the next 2 would be conducted under a false name. On January the 10th, 1903, he married his 4th wife, Edith Thompson. Barely 5 days after that, he grossly married a 5th one, Ellen Simpson, who was a widowed nurse. After her joyous wedding day on January the 15th, she returned with her husband to her new home at 43 Ladysmith Road, Kensal Rise, North London, without the slightest suspicion that it was already the home to wife number 4, Edith. As soon as their wedding night was over, Ellen became surplus to requirements. The following day, Crossman smashed her over the head, bunged her body in a trunk, hid it in the attic, and later filled it with cement. By the time Edith returned home from visiting friends, everything in the house was normal. She would never know that her husband had cunningly found time for a bigamous marriage and a murder while she was away. When she later asked him about the cement in the trunk on finding it, he explained that when it's set, he would use it as a step outside, which he probably would have done given the chance. Incredibly, Crossman and Edith lived a fairly happy married life for the next year or so, though that certainly would not have been the case if she had known the truth. She was not legally married. She had paid him £20 after advertising herself as a lady's help. Not only that, but there was another woman in the background, and she was currently rotting in cement in a trunk upstairs. And during that time, Crossman married wife 6, Miss Venables, a 7th, Miss Welch, and possibly an 8th, Miss Woolard, during trips away from home. It was only when the couple's lodger, William Dell, started to complain about the awful smell coming from one of the upstairs rooms that Crossman's murdering secret was revealed. One night in March 1904, he decided to remove the body. When his tenant heard him hammering about and sensing the dreadful smell, he called out, "Hey, what have you got? Have you a dead body in there?" Trying not to quiver, Crossman replied, "No, it's alright, this stuff always smells fearfully when it goes bad." But it would be too late for him to remove the body. 2 nights later, on March 23rd, Dell had had enough. He alerted police to what he strongly suspected was the smell of a rotting body, and Crossman was caught in the act as he was trying to remove the trunk. The police approached.
Oi, you!
But he dashed past them, and they in turn gave chase.
Oi, you! Stop in the name of the law! Catch him!
There was no way out, the game was up, and the certain knowledge that he was going to die a painful death on the gallows was all too much for Crossman. After running almost a mile, the police having nearly caught up with him, he stopped and, with a razor, cut his own throat from ear to ear.